firstly, welcome to Future Leadership and a big congratulations on being our 2025 Future Leadership Board Scholarship winner.
Thank you. It's an honour and I'm truly grateful, so thank you.
So firstly, Theresa, why did you apply for the scholarship? What did you see was interesting to you in thinking about going forward as an applicant for the scholarship process?
Last year, I was at a point in my career, I guess an inflection point, if you want to call it, about where I wanted to go next. I'd had a long career in the higher education sector, many years on boards and in many senior management roles in the not-for-profit sector. I then tried a couple of different roles just to extend the work I'd done, sort of the diversity and inclusion role for a corporate, some consulting, just to see where I wanted to go next in my career. My younger brother then passed away, so it sort of made me think I need to take a career break. I need to spend some time reflecting on what I want to get out of my next career move. And so when I saw the scholarship, it was at a point where I was thinking, I'd gone and done a social impact fellowship, and that made me think I want to do some work that matters, influence systemic change, if you could call it. And for me, I'm passionate about the area of accessibility and inclusion. And I thought, well, how do you do that? Do you do that through organisations? Another way to do it is at the board level, right from the top. You know, it's an opportunity to really make change and advocate for an area that I'm really passionate about. I thought about that. I thought, well, it's been a long time since I've been on a board role. It's been 8 years. It was in the disability sector. How do I, become more active in looking for the right board role and go back into that space when I've been out for so long? I felt I didn't necessarily have the contemporary skills to necessarily put myself forward. So when I saw the scholarship, I thought this is the right time. The scholarship gives me the opportunity to do the company directors course, which will upskill me in current practice and those contemporary issues that I felt maybe I wasn't necessarily, on top of. So it's also given me the momentum to, really pursue that next board opportunity, that find that right fit for me, that allows me to find an organisation that aligns with my values and allows me to pursue the passions that I have.
Well, certainly, I think we had over 100 applicants this year, and at the end of the day, you were an outstanding applicant, and we were really thrilled to select you, Theresa, to get going on the process of the scholarship, which is a combination of the AICD course, the Australian Institute of Company Directors course, and also mentoring and coaching around board roles, applying for board roles.
I think it was that mentoring and coaching that really appealed to me, sort of finding that support. And I recognise the value that mentors and coaches can provide. It's something I've researched as an academic, so when I saw that aspect of the scholarship, I think that's what really spoke to me.
And you've got Janko there, your seeing eye dog, commenting as we go along.
I think he's agreeing, yes. I think what my time in the disability sector, it's taught me many things. It's taught me to recognise that my lived experience is actually an asset. It gives me an understanding of the importance of taking multiple perspectives. So even when I worked in the disability sector, I had roles as a client, a volunteer, a staff member and a board member. When you hold all those different hats at various points, the value you get in appreciating that there's different perspectives in organisations, how do we bring everyone to the table and help make decisions and develop strategy and the like. The other thing it's taught me is that the value of accessibility. So working in the disability sector is all about supporting people to achieve their potential, and particularly in the organisations that I've been involved with, either as a board member or a staff member, accessibility has been that competitive advantage.
Theresa, can you just explain a little bit more about what you mean in relation to accessibility for different kinds of disabilities?
So accessibility can be a range of things, and we know, and accessibility means different things to different groups. And even in the disability space, I'm blind, have been since the age of 10. I know my disability. I can't speak on the behalf of other people with different disabilities because I haven't lived in their shoes. But what we do know is that when we make things more accessible, we open up the world to many more people than we do now. So when we talk about people with disabilities, for example, that's 1 in 5 Australians. That's a massive potential when it comes to potential market for organisations. The participation rate of people with disabilities, 53% in the workforce, compared to, say, 84% of people without disabilities. So when the organisations are trying to tackle skill shortages and the like, such an untapped potential. And one of those areas in society where organisations can play their part in, trying to tackle that issue. When you think about how we design and deliver products and services, have we tapped into that disability market and that aspect? So, and thinking about what we do, is it accessible? Thinking about accessibility from physical environment, digital environment, how we communicate. There's so many aspects to it that I think I'd love to see organisations focus on that much more.
So you talked a little bit about digital and technology and cybersecurity, of course. Can you comment around your experience today in the workforce of technology and how it's kind of addressing those with disabilities in the workforce or not?
I think technology can be my biggest enabler as well as my biggest barrier. So technology has enabled me to do things and have a career that perhaps 30 years ago I may not have been able to do. The technology that exists now in terms of screen readers allows me to access everything on the internet, apps, devices, all of these things makes me a productive and employee, in organisations. So that's fantastic. But where I see the issue is thinking about the digital environment. So have organisations thought about the accessibility of their systems? Because what can happen is you might hire a person with a disability. If those systems aren't accessible, we're not setting them up for success. Thinking about the technology organisations have in terms of how they deliver services or how they design their products. Have you thought about accessibility in the design thinking phase and gathered input and voices from people with diverse access needs and thought about that in the design process? I think there's so much more potential that organisations can do there. How you even communicate as an organisation to your stakeholders, communication channels, are they accessible communications in how you communicate, whether it's through social media or whatever the channels, are they designed with an accessible viewpoint in mind? So there's so many areas where digital accessibility, I think, has room for growth.
And Theresa, you've done really quite amazing things in your work and your kind of leadership practice to date, including a PhD and lots of other amazing qualifications. How are you thinking about the AICD course? What do you expect that particular course might contribute?
I love a qualification, but what that qualification will give me is those insights into what are those contemporary issues that boards and organisations are tackling with now. And so I'm looking forward to visiting that as part of this company director's course. I'm looking forward to networking and meeting others at a similar stage and understanding, what are the key issues that they're tackling in their own organisations. What can I learn from that knowledge? I'm very much about that sort of social learning that occurs when you're learning with other people and how you can take that to change your own perspective or take a different lens on it.
Great. And you are interested in particular sectors, but not necessarily, as we've talked about previously, not necessarily just on boards that offer services or are related to disabilities. I
want to take the knowledge I've gained from that sector and see where it can be applied in other areas. So, I have a love for education, health, human services, but beyond that. So for me, it's about how do I take my skills, which are around that lived experience, passion for accessibility and inclusion. I've got, I'm a researcher, I'm passionate about social impact. So I have my mindset is all about that evidence-informed approach to doing things, measuring what matters. So taking that insight and that experience, given the fact that I work in education, people and culture, I've got that common theme of wanting to do work that allows other people to thrive, to achieve their potential. So how do I take those human insights into my next role? It's about finding a board that aligns with my values, that allows me to be that voice that gets organisations to think about accessibility and inclusion and champion that and see that as a way, if boards are really keen and wanting to be innovative and bold in that space, thinking about how they might be able to approach accessibility and inclusion as a strategic advantage.
I'm sure you're going to do exactly that, Theresa, into your future. Is there anything else before we kind of wind up that you would like to share about the scholarship, or about perhaps more on your personal journey?
People have said, what advice would you have for others when, why do you go for the scholarship and things like that? For me, it's about having the confidence to go through this process. It's challenging yourself. I've got so used to in my life that you've got to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And so until you do, you're not going to really grow. So yes, the thought of applying for a scholarship, doing the course, putting myself back out there in the world to look for a board role, yes, that feels challenging, but I've never shied away from that in my life. I've done career and roles and activities where I've constantly pushed and challenged myself. Really encouraging people to think, well, you'll never ever be ready for something. So don't wait till you're ready to try something. Just, step off the cliff and give it a go. Is my view. That's what this opportunity is. It's given me the momentum to step up and give something a go and hopefully be successful.
Well, Theresa, I'm really thrilled that you are our successful scholarship winner this year, and I wish you loads of luck in the 12 months ahead with not only the course but also your progress towards achieving board directorships into the future that you really believe can benefit and that will benefit you, and I'm sure you're going to add extremely high value to any board that appoints you in the future. So all the best, Theresa.
Thank you so much, Jo. And again, I appreciate the opportunity, and as I tell my girls, we can't underestimate the value of representation. So I put myself forward to be part of that change.
Thank you. Thanks so much.